Oh yeah! What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the VR Link. How are you doing? Oh man, sorry, I wasn't keeping time on the counter. Dude, welcome to episode 18 of the VR Link, your weekly Wednesday podcast where you can find us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter at 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST, and 11 a.m. PST. On this show, we discuss the latest news, games, and goings-on in virtual reality. My name's GT from Gamertag VR, and alongside me is my co-host, Matt from BMF. How you doing, dude?
I am excellent, thank you.
Excellent stuff. For the audiophiles amongst you, you can follow the show and listen again on Spotify, Apple, and Anchor. By the way, right, okay, so I'm actually 2 episodes behind on the audio stuff, but I went to do it today, and the website's gone. Anchor's just like shut down at the moment. So I did try, but I will do it as soon as possible. Thank you ever so much to all the legendary patrons and channel members whose names are listed below. Each and every episode. Thank you. We're over 40 channel members now, which is absolutely fantastic. If you're in this chat and you haven't been here before, please go and check out the Discord as well. We've got over 1,000 VR users in there as well. And we are joined this week by 2 awesome guests. They are the creators of the VR Trend magazine. Please welcome the Bearded Bard and Cody Sturgis.
Hey guys.
How you doing?
Thank you for having us. Doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm better now. Well, I'm better when I'm not like panicking.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Like I walked in the room and I'm like, well, that's the 3-second countdown. Ideal. Like I haven't seen my wife today, and I just went downstairs. And she just like went, blah, trying to tell me these goings on at work. And I'm trying to get back up the stairs and try not to be rude and all those real life things. Who have we got in the chat today? Let's take a look. Thank you ever so much for joining us. We got Bubble Blue, Mepa, Limitless Gaming, Hamdan. Nice. Thank you, Mr. Lemon and Lime. How was your stream today, Mr. Lemon and Lime? I saw you done like a VR stream, one of your first VR streams. Congratulations. Luna Trick. Who else we got? Magma Creamy, Spartacus, yo, nice, Sim Racing and more. Excellent stuff. Thank you for joining us. Phase Lock Interactive, how you doing, guys? Thank you for joining us. Pharos EDM, Wormsworth, Alex VR. We've got an all-star
Sadly,
cast.
it's Bradley's in the chat.
Sadly, it's Bradley, is it?
Yeah.
I've only recently just like become friends over Twitter and stuff, and he was helping me because I want to go back into Half-Life Alyx and go through some of the community-made stuff, and obviously he makes levels in there as well.
Stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I want to check that stuff out. So I hope everyone's week's going well. Let me know what you've been playing this week in the chat, please. Matt, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing pretty much purely PS5 this week.
Yeah. I've completed Spider-Man. Not only did I complete it, I've done like 100% of the map as well. I've literally done all the side stuff. What about you, Bearded Bard?
Yeah, I've just been playing Population 1, man, nonstop. I can't stop playing it. I've been trying to get a PS5. I have like 3 bots just scouring the internet, giving me updates when the PS5s are dropping, and I just can't get one. It's impossible. It's not happening for me.
It's the scalpers, man. The scalpers. It's crazy what's going on.
It's nuts.
What about you, Cody?
Just Pop 1 mostly on there. just embarrassing myself. Like I gotta get better at that game. So I've been working on
that game is absolutely fantastic. I've done a live stream on it yesterday, and I haven't. Funny enough, when it first came out, I couldn't stop streaming it, like because I always wanted to play it. And I thought I'll have 2 weeks off. You know, I'll do a variety of different streams. As soon as I put up Pop 1 again, one person went, can you play something else? And I'm like, hell no, I can't. Like, I love this game so much. How are you getting on with the Harvest event? Are you doing that? Are you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you only need like you need like 10,000 points to be diamond or whatever right now. So, I mean, that's what, like 3-4 wins, 5 wins, something like that with some kills. So.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, it's
so
really
like
not that
games,
hard.
You know?
Yeah, 3 games for
just
no.
win.
If you get each win is like 1,000 points, right? So a win mixed with some kills, you're up at platinum pretty quick. Like so, I don't know. It's a okay event. I wish you would have got points only for winning. I think that would have made it drive on a little longer.
Yeah.
Myself, but Yeah.
Do you know what? Regardless of what they do, I'm just glad they're doing something, because the amount of games that come out and they just go stale, and like we've already had weapon skins. I mean, that's the thing already. If you don't play many traditional games, having this stuff in VR is quite important. Like I remember with like Firewall, you have to wait a long time for certain things. Like already we've had the free coin event, so you can buy the stuff for free. And I liked the way they've done the pack, so you could win like a certain amount of coins. I think it was like 300, and the whole weapon skin pack was 305 or something. I thought that's quite cool. Like, oh yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really cool, man. Just seeing all that stuff, and yeah, I can't wait. I really think we're going to get like a Winter Wonderland in there or something crazy. I'm sure of it, man. I'm sure of it.
They have to, right? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, especially with the new skins that are going to be dropping in the next couple of weeks, the winter skins. So I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
It should be amazing.
Well, how do you feel about paid content, like stuff like that? You know, cosmetics. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, cosmetics, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I have no issue with it all. I mean, obviously, one thing we have to remember is these guys have to support their servers. They have to be able to afford to pay their people. And if they're going to be putting out events and fresh new content, they need a way to compensate for that. So, you know, I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, it's something we're all used to, you know, Call of Duties, all those games, everything has some sort of cosmetic paywall where you can pay for coins and stuff to unlock that stuff. So to me, not really a big deal. Something I expected, and it's something I was hoping that they would do, because it's only going to bring longevity to the game and allow them to make it better. And I mean, you look at their updates week after week, right, on their Reddit and stuff, and they're always changing. They're listening to what the community's saying. I mean, I was sitting 2 days ago, I was playing it with some friends, and I was like, you know what I hate? Every time the game ends, I have to sit through this Havoc event extra screen where it gives you your points for all that stuff, and I don't really care about seeing it. And then yesterday they released an update saying that they minimized that screen so you can get through it quicker. And they're so quick and on the ball.
Yeah.
And that's because they have a team and they can afford to do it. And I think that, you know, if I need to pay $6 for a skin that I want.
I think there's another thing on this as well. Like when you talk about Battle Royale games, obviously they are very popular at the moment, and some of the most popular ones are actually free. So they tend to have content in the games to compensate for that. But what we're talking about with VR is a much smaller player base, guaranteed player base already. Let alone, you don't even know how popular the game's going to be. So I think that's what caught people off by surprise, is that they kind of saw the price tag and then they put the content in. So everyone was like, well, hold on a minute. Like, that's not normal. Normally you'd have a free game with paid content. But for a first generation, and I know there are other Battle Royale games, but not like this, and definitely not as popular as this. You can go in a game at launch, and it will be popular, and you do want the best for it. On Steam, for example, there's a couple, I won't name them, but within 2 weeks, I'm going in there, there's no one on there, and you're just like, come on, man, it's so good to jump in Population 1. And I recognise people in the streets. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, you know, and I was talking about it the other night, and you know, when I started doing Pop 1 stuff, it was back on the Vive, right, 2 years ago when they were doing early alphas and stuff, and there was like the lobby would be maybe 12 people, and it was the same people over and over again, and. And it's cool, even with the amount of people that are in it now, you still will get in a lobby and you will recognize names, you know, and you'll recognize those people, and you know, you'll see people in the lobby and you can tell right away if it's going to be a hard game to beat, you know, or not. So it's great. It's such a good experience, you know, and you know, I think as long as I think the biggest challenge right now and the biggest complaints I'm hearing is obviously the voice chat in the lobby. But I would not be surprised if there was a mute all button coming soon or something like that.
Yeah, or just point and mute. That'd be ideal.
Yeah.
Just point and mute, man. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. That'd be awesome. Funny enough, in this like little video, there's a little video running between us. There is Population 1 in there. And graphically, it looks completely different. It must have been a PC only build at some point. And then obviously it went to Quest, and then it changed to be multi-platform, I guess, because it just looks a very different game. You know what I'm saying? In this video, and you said you've been part of that from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So when I first started and I was in the alphas and stuff. I mean, they had solo matches because there wasn't enough player base to do squads of 4 or squads of 3. So it was solos and then it was duos. The guns had no recoil. You could just shoot them all one-handed, you know. But even then, up to that point, at the time when I started doing that, I was still working with, I think, High Fidelity. But at that time, it was still the best looking game on the Vive that I played up to that point. It was alpha and it was just beautiful. The gliding mechanics still worked great. It played great. And what I think blew my mind at that time early on was the spectator camera.
Right.
Because that was the first initial time when you were able to scale down the map and look around and scale it up again, before Pavlov and everyone else started doing that sort of thing. So to me, it was so innovative at the time, and they've just kind of built upon that. It's been really cool to see.
It is good. It is good. So let's talk about you guys, because we want to talk about your magazine, VR Trend magazine. Yeah, made a video on it last week.
Oh, are we holding him up?
Yeah, well, I'm holding mine up.
Oh,
Mine's stuck. Yeah,
so, talk to me about this.
Awesome, by the way.
What's made you do this? What's made you get into this? Because it's funny. Like, I posted it on Reddit, and someone, I mean, the first negative was, magazines, dude, it's 2020. But then on the other half,
Yeah.
on the other side of it, because you offer a digital version, on the other side of it, there's people like me who are like, I want this, like in my hand. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, tell us a bit about yourselves and tell us what led up to this point.
Sure. So, I've been doing VR stuff for a long time now. I started 5-6 years ago working for High Fidelity, when they were booting up Hi-Fi. And then from there, I've, worked with Pimax and, another of other VR companies. And, I've always watched you guys, watched news, watched YouTube videos, and watched what was coming out next. And you guys were how I was getting my news, watching, whatever videos I could find on YouTube at the time. And it got me remembering and kind of looking back at like when I was a kid and all these new games would come out, and I would always just be standing in Target or whatever, Kmart or whatever the store would be, looking up and watching the videos play and that sort of thing. And it was kind of nostalgic for me. And I was like, dude, I want to be part of this, So tried to do the YouTube stuff for a bit, and it just wasn't. I just couldn't dedicate the time. It's a
not
big
easy.
commitment.
It's
Obviously,
not easy. Yeah,
it's not.
massive.
It's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
So did that for a while, and then when I left Pimax, I got a job at a publishing company, and I was sitting there, and these guys print 400,000 magazines and send them out all over the world, and it got me thinking, and I was like, dude, why isn't there a VR magazine? Why doesn't this exist? Why isn't this something that's out there yet? So I get online, I'm looking for one. I'm like, maybe it's already out there. Maybe someone made one. It seems like something that should be done already, and I'm not seeing it. And then of course, the first thing that pops in my head is, well, okay, we're taking a brand new technology and we're converting it into a format that has been heavily, bombarded with, digital content, right? So, like you were saying, a lot of people are like, well, why would you do print, any sort of print right now? Everything's digital. And to me, I was looking at it just the opposite. Well, why wouldn't I do print? Everything is digital.
Yeah.
So to me, it was just like a no-brainer. Like there's people like you, there's people like myself, Cody, Matt, there's a lot of niche people who still like the tangible, and they still like to see that. We're avid collectors of things by nature, so being able to take something and put it on a shelf, reference it, come back and look at it 2 years from now and be like, oh shoot, man, this is where VR was 2 years ago. I totally forgot about this.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's kind of like, it just seemed like a cool vibe. So initially I just put a tweet out, 4 months ago, something like that. And it just said, hey, I wish I had the tweet up. I'm thinking about creating a digital or a physical magazine. Is there any interest in this? Would people read it? Blah, 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 blah. And I got a lot of good feedback. So brought it up to Cody, and Cody was like, dude, we could do this. Let's just do it. There's, even if it's just a passion project and we make a couple issues and a couple people like it, it's such a good way to just get to know the community and provide something kind of just fun and different and exciting and new.
Yeah.
So we decided to do it. And then we just got overly excited. We made a website right away, and we made like a Patreon right away, and without even having like a full scope of the idea of what we're going to do. And then we started getting Patreons, and we were like, oh no,
this is real.
Yeah, we have to do this now.
Yeah,
we
were
doing like a soft launch on the Patreon, then all of a sudden people are actually signing up, and we were like months away from being able to put anything out, and
yeah,
all of a sudden it really pushed our time frame forward. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But I mean, how lucky were we though that like, the VR community is like literally everyone wants to help everybody in some aspect. Everyone's willing to help, So as soon as we started asking for content and people to help writing stuff and for devs to start submitting their stuff, I mean, it was game over, because everyone wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to talk about their passion and what they were doing and what they were working on. So once we started getting that content, it was just a matter of formatting it and doing layout and design, which luckily Cody knew how to do all of that because I didn't, and kind of getting it all put together. And, fast forward 3-4 months and we actually got a magazine out, which is crazy because, we had to work through printing and international, which we never even thought of. Printing and sending a magazine international is a nightmare if you've never had to do it before. So especially if you're not doing it on a large scale, right? I mean, I think we're up to 170 Patreons now, which is unreal, absolutely unreal. And a large majority of them are in Germany and France and the UK, so it's been a learning experience for us, especially in regards to how long it takes to ship something, because we had no idea. For some reason, I imagined that we would send them out and everyone would get them a couple of days later, and that's not how it works. So it's crazy.
What about you then, Cody? What's your experience in VR, and where have you come from, and what brings you here?
Really, what's funny is the Bearded Bard actually introduced me to a lot of the VR on there. He's always been kind of a huge supporter of it, and he's always been kind of the guy who's pushing out newer technologies and showing everyone that, and that's kind of his passion. So he got me into it. I ended up getting like a Gear VR and just playing, small little games and playing or messing with like Google Maps and stuff like that, and I just kind of fell in love ultimately that way. But with the magazine, I know that we wanted to capture just the nostalgia. I remember, as a kid getting Nintendo Power in my mailbox and looking forward to it, month after month, and reading the latest news and just getting really excited about that. So that's kind of what we're ultimately trying to capture with the magazine on there. And then obviously we want it to be community based, and we're very open to the content and like what we're providing and everything on there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's been one thing that we've been we've been trying to be very clear about, is we want everyone to feel like they can get involved. If you've never written for a magazine, if you've never created a VR game, if you have any sort of passion at all and you want to be involved in it, we have people we have one person who copy edits everything, goes over it, makes sure the spelling and everything's correct and that it sounds right. But we will put anything in the magazine that we think people want to see, and I think that's the cool thing about it, is it's not just geared towards, all the biggest stuff coming out. It's geared towards, there's a lot of independent developers and the people who are working on new projects. And, if you look through the magazine, you won't see any ads in there, and we're trying to make it to where we can keep it just a community-based, content-driven magazine where everyone can look at it every month and be like, or every other month and be like, oh my God, I know that guy. Or, oh shoot, I watch his videos. Or, oh shoot, I ran into him on Population One or in VR chat, or whatever. Like when you were flipping through it, Gamertag, you saw that ad from
VR Gamer Dude.
Yeah, from VR Gamer Dude. And it's just like, that's the stuff that's fun, because you don't know who's going to be in there, and And it's just it makes it exciting because these are all people, especially for those of us who've been around a long time. We've all kind of grown up around each other in this VR industry. You know, we've heard all these names, we've seen all these names in games because the player base is still so small and niche that you pick up on a lot of the same players, right? So it's just kind of cool to kind of mingle that into something physical because there's so much digital content. It's so easy to go online and look up VR news. That's fine. But there's just something a little more intimate about it being on print. So it's been pretty fun, man. And like the first time, like I wish we would have recorded it when we opened the box for the first time after the first test copy printed.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
We were holding it in our hands and we were like, this looks like a real magazine. This is unreal. This is insane. It doesn't look like someone just went and made a Word document and, you know, stapled photo paper together, you know, like a school project. Like we made sure, you know, that we, you know, when we were working with the printers, we said, hey, we want to use the same thing that we're using on all of our high quality magazines. We want it to be larger and wider. We want it to just look and feel like you'd expect a quality magazine to feel like. So now that we have that portion down, which we're still working on some things, we're hoping to go to a perfect binding because staples can be kind of unreliable, as we've seen with this first issue. So we're kind of trying to lean towards that and make it better. But, you know, once we have the magazine formatting and the quality to where we want it, then it's just month after month just working on the content.
I seriously don't see a problem with ads if it helps the magazine go further.
Yeah,
I actually think that's just part of life, though.
Yeah. And ultimately, I mean, we'll probably get something in there at some point, but for us, we want to build the community first before we start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just stuff in there, you know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Ultimately, you know, I think there's one ad in there. There's a nice fake ad in there, which was fun to put in there towards the end that Damo made, but
it gives us a little bit more freedom too, in terms of, you know, what we can actually publish in there and so on and so forth. So,
there it is.
Yeah.
The cold cover.
Yeah, and he's such a cool guy, man. On Twitter, he made us a bunch of those, you know, and they're so cool to see because it's like instant nostalgia when you see it mixed with new technology, and it just feels so good. Yeah, man, it's exciting, and we're excited to see where it goes. And, you know, if we put ads in there, that'll be great. But we just want to make sure anything that's in there is VR related, is accessible to everyone, and is something you want to see, right?
Yeah,
Obviously,
exactly. What I'd like to
see
see is like other people in there, because a lot of people have you don't realize it, but you might have your own community, whether it be your Twitter page, a Discord, like. That's kind of what I'm hoping people will do when they get their magazine, is share it and show people. And because I don't want it to go anywhere. I want it to keep going. I think it's fantastic. I really do. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you so much, man.
I love it.
Awesome.
I mean, I still have boxes of the old like Game Informer magazines, stuff like that. PC Gamer, you know, the original PlayStation magazine that came with the demo discs. I still have a lot of those, and so having this as a physical magazine is just amazing. Like I'm that kind of person. It's kind of weird because it kind of reverts back. It's been a long time since we've had things like a really good gamer magazine, or at least that I've really gotten one, or you know, a video rental house, something like that. Those types of things feel nostalgic, but are things that I miss. So having a magazine that takes something that I love and it is purely digital for the most part, especially in the world we're in right now, and puts it into a physical format that I can just, you know, I can sit on the couch and read it and not have to worry about being on my phone or on a computer. It's just, I love it.
The thing is, once you're part of the VR community, dude, you are surrounded by it now. I am literally involved in it 24/7. Rec Room have just popped into the chat. Maybe you could do like a couple of rooms spot in there, do you know, in your magazine, you know, because their community is always building fantastic and amazing stuff. So I think
it's an amazing idea.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? I think there's so many other
so cool.
We're
definitely something we're working on.
Yeah, so we're always like thinking. I mean, we're thinking, you know, hey, maybe we have a you know, have a world built in VR Chatter Summer. That's a Patreon world, right? Where the magazines are in there, where you can flip through them digitally. Somehow, I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but we're thinking of that. I mean, we're constantly thinking of like, okay, how can we make this more accessible to people? Because yeah, it's physical. We offer it in a digital as well, via just a PDF, right? So we're figuring out, well, what might be a better way to offer these stories throughout, you know, throughout our format, whether it's on our website, or how do we do that to make sure that the people who are in here are getting, you know, getting the exposure we want them to get, and getting their message out there that we want them to get. Because not everyone's going to opt in for a physical magazine, you know. So how do we still push all this information across? So there's still stuff like that we're working on, and then we want the magazine issue after issue to be fun and exciting, you know. So we have people working on like activity page for the next issue, and we have Steam keys that are going to be going out for the next issue from multiple VR developers. And we're just going to sprinkle random things in each bag before they go to mail, like we did with some people would have probably got a VR Trend sticker, some didn't, and you know, the posters and stuff. And we put, if we had anything extra, we're just sprinkling things just to make it fun, you know, and exciting. You don't know what you're going to get in there, and it's just we want to be able to keep doing that stuff, you know. So we're constantly looking for ideas and ways to improve, you know. And you know, we have our Twitter and stuff, but if anyone has ideas of what you'd actually want to see, I mean, you know, we're still learning how to do this, and it's, even though we know what nostalgia is and we grew up with it, it's so hard to replicate. It is so hard to, I mean, we went, and Cody went, and we were searching for older Game Informers and tips and tricks and all that stuff, which, by the way, if you don't have them, they're pretty hard to find unless you get on eBay and just buy them.
Right.
So, you know, we're scouring online and stuff for all these archive magazines. We're like, how do we get the same feel? It's so hard to replicate it. You know, the color schemes are different. Just everything about it is just different. The phony ads that are in it with the kids all excited, you know, that's all stuff we want to get the point where we can replicate, but we're still learning, you know. So
what I want is an Oculus mascot. And like PlayStation VR's Astrobot. I remember did you see that picture I tagged you in of like Mario and Sonic fighting or something, like his kid's artwork? I literally put it on Twitter the other day.
Yes.
Or something.
Yep.
I remember when I was younger seeing some really hideous ones of like Sonic beheading Mario. And there was another one, right? I mean, this must have been so serious. I do remember arguing at school about Sega and Nintendo, but I remember Sonic cutting the belly off Mario, and inside it, and I was thinking, wow, this is like passion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's always been console wars, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and that's August, and like that stuff. That's why like we had the idea for a V Artists Corner, right, in the issue, where anyone doing any sort of VR related art or anything like that can submit it to us. You know, someone brought up in the Twitter post about like letters to the editor or something like that, you know, where they just kind of write what they're feeling about the VR industry and pull from Twitter and that sort of stuff. So it's all stuff we're looking at slowly implementing in there, as long as we can format it in a cohesive way that we think people would want to look at. But yeah, we're just kind of we're taking it day by day, and what's cool is everyone is willing to give us their perspective and help out. It's been such a huge help.
The VR community is one of the most supportive and amazing communities I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, it's unreal.
We definitely wouldn't have been able to put out the magazine like as fast as we did without everyone's support. So it's been crazy. Yeah,
wouldn't have happened.
We were kind of just scratching our heads like, okay, we got to do this, you know, and then all of a sudden people are just flooding in, you know, offering articles and help, and it's just been great.
And there's people like VR Gamer Dude and Hunter, and a lot of these people that they went the extra step, and they didn't just give us the content for us to put together. They just built the whole page, you know, they put everything together and sent it to you, and we just had to go, oh, wow. Okay. You know, and it's like, how cool is that? I mean, it's been unreal. So
I want an indie. Is there an indie corner in there? Like, is there like an indie developer scene in there?
There's an indie dev, yeah. So we have a development corner where we do little shots of indie devs that are working on some stuff.
You got developer interviews.
That's one of the major focuses for the second issue too.
Yeah, like, this whole second issue we have a lot of that.
Yeah,
probably our largest article is going to be focused on like smaller developers and games that they're
It completely makes sense because, like, and I'm sure Matt's the same. My inbox is full up with requests, and like, it's really hard. There's a lot of factors that come into like streaming a game, and one of them is optimization. The game might not be optimized very well, unfortunately. There's lots of other things, but the premise and the idea still needs to be heard. And so it kind of like makes me think, well, I can't really make a video on it. So then I feel like I've let them down a little bit. But that's where something like you guys can come in, and like websites and stuff where you can still say, look what's happening, look who's making this and where it's coming from, and how to get involved, because most of the developers have their own discords.
And a lot of it's these people like, I'll give you an example. So we're going to have an article in our next issue, and it's going to be from Fletcher Studios. Okay. And Fletcher Studios is a dad who is creating an experience based around autism, right? So he took his son's drawing, a bunch of his child would draw a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper. He took all of his drawings and he built a 3D world around these drawings. And it's teaching people about autism and that sort of stuff. And all the profits from the game are going towards autism, right? So it's stuff like that, unless there's a bigger platform for him to be heard and get his message out there, there's a lot of people that might be interested in supporting him and helping him out that would never hear about it.
Yeah.
And there's so many people working on stuff like that, and those are the people we want to highlight, as people who are not only making games and experiences, but working on change and ways to utilize VR that is outside of what we're thinking about,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's...
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was going to say, and ultimately that was one of our goals too, is to create this magazine and kind of have it be we refer to as the hype generating machine, and a kind of a voice for these smaller developers, and, give them a way to advertise and show their games, because we have a bunch of ways to get major news or news for major games and things like that, but it's nice to help out these smaller guys too. So
yeah,
one thing
it's good. And they're the most, and they, like they'll message us and say, hey, I'm working on this and this, can we be in the magazine? And it's for us, it's easy. It's like, we, as long as we have the space and what you want to put in there, we'll put it in there. If it's something that we think adds value to the community, then I think it's worth being in there. And especially when most of these people who are in the magazine are people who are supporting us as well. They believe in the project, they believe in the process. And not only are they supporting us through Patreon, they're also supporting us with content for the magazine. So it's like they're supporting us. I mean, it's been unreal, because this really truly isn't something we could do by ourselves. We couldn't. I mean, even just if none of you guys have looked into the cost of printing a magazine lately, it's absolutely insanity, so being like, when we did our first shipment out of the first initial issue, we were sitting there like, dude, we can't believe we actually were able to not only create the magazine, but then also deliver upon it, afford to get the shipping out to everybody and that sort of stuff. There was at one point where we were almost ready to refund all international and pull the international away, because we just couldn't, there was no way we were able to, to afford it. But we decided, there's too much. A lot of the content we had was coming out of the UK. And I had no idea, first of all, how many studios are overseas, how many VR companies are actually located, like UK, Sweden, all that sort of stuff. They're all over there. It seems like Germany. Yeah. I mean, there's so many of them. It's crazy. But yeah, ultimately we decided to keep it. And that's how we want it to stay, because we want it to be accessible to everybody. And VR is such a small niche community anyway, that by closing that off, we're closing off half of the audience who'd be interested in reading it.
What I hope happens is your digital version of the magazine is kind of like PlayStation 5 games, where the digital is actually more expensive than the physical. That'd be ideal, wouldn't it? You'd be... I'm like, what the hell? That's what you want.
That would be ideal. Well, ultimately too, if we just are able to print more issues, like that'll help address a lot of the...
Yeah, because when you look at printing, you get discounts based on quantity, right? Obviously we're not printing a high quantity amount of magazines right now, so we're paying we're paying a lot more per issue. You know, but it's fine, and it's an investment. We have a support through our Patreons, and you know, we're passionate about it, so we're willing to put in the time, effort, and money to make it happen. And I don't foresee this even being an issue 3 issues from now. You know, I think we'll get to a point where it's going to be self-sustaining, and we'll have enough Patreons, and we'll have enough content provided, and you know, maybe sprinkle an ad or 2 in there, you know, to help cover the printing costs to the international customers, and then it won't be an issue, you know, and all our members will get their magazine and everyone will be happy. We're just, you know, working to that.
Excellent.
If now, if people want to sign up for it, before I forget, I was going to say this. If you want to sign up for the magazine, and what is the fastest way for them to get to there?
The fastest way is go straight to our website at vrtrendmagazine.com. There's a link there that'll take you directly to our Patreon page.
Okay. PD or one of the mods, if you can post that into the chat so people click on it, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to try and grab it now. And also, if anyone listens or watches this back, in the video you will find all those links. Funny enough, I was just putting VR Trend Magazine and my videos come up.
Yeah. Yours is, if you Google that, yours is the first video to come up, I
That's
think.
crazy. I don't think that's ever happened
Yeah.
before. All right, cool. I've just grabbed it, so let's just make sure. Someone just said about like the amount of ideas you guys must have must be crazy. Like someone said about about doing AR integration in the magazine, but
it's,
you know,
it's the amount of ideas that we've been having and writing down that people have been bringing to us has been insane. We just don't know where to start with implement it. Like what's going to be the best use of our time? I mean, we're already working on issue number 2. I mean, you're looking at our whole team right now, right? So, I mean, we have so much that we have to get done in order to get issue number 2 out, that we're trying to figure out, okay, if we do want to sprinkle anything extra or add to the magazine in the form of, you know, AR or, you know, a fake demo disc that has Steam keys on it or whatever we plan to do, we need to make sure that we kind of plan accordingly for that. But yeah, I mean, there's so much, right? I mean, I think it was Vivian from VR Respawn was talking about like a insert that you take out and it folds into a cardboard for your phone VR, right? That's put in the
that's
you know,
really cool.
like that. So there's like so many weird little things that we can do because it's physical, you know. You know, maybe one issue release like a 12-month little flip up calendar with all the content creators in it for each month and stuff like that. So people are bringing up such good ideas, and we're trying to get to the point where we can implement those, you know, in a responsible fashion and still be able to provide, you know, the quality that we want to do. So
It's GT. You know what would be awesome would be if we could convince the team for Pixel Ripped to get physical cards printed of all the VR creators and sprinkle those into the magazines.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Heck
Yeah, because we were in the game. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Just
It'd be like
randomize where it is.
Pokemon content creators, and then that
Oh,
that's pretty
dude,
cool.
that'd be so, just trading cards, VR content creator trading cards. And each issue you get like 3 completely random cards, and you need to collect them over and sprinkle them over like 5 issues so you can try to collect them all.
That'd be cool.
So sick.
That's pretty crazy.
that's like
That'd be
half
so
my
cool.
job. Half my job is just going through like the inbox, sorting articles, going through all these ideas, and just
Yeah. If you
we
send
have so
any
much stuff. I love everything we're getting, but it's just like it's
Yeah,
overwhelming sometimes.
if you send any email to info@VRTrend, all of that, all the coordination, Cody does all of that. He's sorting out all the articles. He's doing all the layout and design. He's doing all the. I mean, I really don't know what I do. So I
think you do the talking.
Yeah,
You're the
he
face.
seriously does. Yeah, he does so much, man. It's insane, and dude, this whole experience has been absolutely crazy, you know, and you know, we started it at a time where there's a pandemic, and you know, we're worried already about just doing normal, you know, our normal jobs and living situations and that sort of stuff. So it's been kind of a nice you know, passion and project to kind of detach from everything else and just kind of pull this together and have something to focus all of our time on.
I was saying to someone about doing this as like this channel and stuff. As I said, I've got a Discord, so I've got people to talk to all the time, you know, and I hope they feel the same. They can talk to each other and to me, and you know, like me and Matt, we chat all the time. VR has definitely helped in so many ways through this. What's going on, you know? Time has flown pretty much, and this is one of those years that I'm really glad it has. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, oh dear, it's crazy.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
One thing that was kind of funny when we were launching the first issue is we had like 2 weeks before we were launching, and then I ended up getting COVID. My whole family got COVID, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so you know, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. You know, I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna work on the magazine, gonna pump stuff out. You know, I had the magazine like 80% done, so I was pretty excited. And then I just got my butt kicked, basically. I was just like wrecked. I had like, you know, fever, like all that stuff. You know, I lost my sense of taste, all that. That was fine, but it was really like the fatigue afterwards. Like I would sit at the computer and I would just be a zombie. Like I couldn't do anything for like probably a week afterwards.
Yeah,
too,
I've heard it is. Yeah, so most people I know who've had it have just like it's either like flu-like symptoms, which means you can still operate, but obviously, you know, then you've got the loss of taste and smell and stuff. But it sounds like you actually had quite a lot of the symptoms all at once, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I would definitely rate it a 0 out of 10 if you can avoid it. It's not good for productivity if you're trying to pump out a magazine.
Trying to make a magazine, yeah. If you're trying to do a VR magazine, don't get COVID.
Yeah. Well, not only that. So like so Cody gets COVID, right? And we're, like I said, 80% of the magazine's done. We're like 2 weeks from when we're like, okay, this has to be in the mail going to people. And then we pick up a couple more sample copies and we get them. We're holding them in our hand and we're like, Jesus, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It feels thick. It feels like it didn't feel like a magazine. So literally 2 weeks before we went back and we actually switched our whole printing process and the people we were using for printing all together in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my
and it
God.
was, dude, it was so stressful. Because we were like, okay, all we have to do is we have to put like 3 more articles in the magazine and then send the PDF in. And then we'll get it print and sent to distribution for shipping. And then, you know, and here we are 2 weeks holding this magazine in our hand. And we're like, dude, this isn't good enough. Like what we did is we used the highest quality paper we could find, which was glossy 80-pound paper. And instead of using it for just the cover, we used it for the whole magazine. So every piece of paper was thick. It almost was like a calendar. Yeah. And it just felt way too thick. So we ended up going with a matte cover and then going to 60-pound paper on the inside to give it more of a magazine feel. But we had to switch a whole printing press to do that. And it was just, we were so stressed with getting it out because we already kind of shot ourselves in the foot when we initially started getting Patreons. We were like, yeah, we're going to release in 2 months and we're going to go. And we're sitting here like we have nothing. We have nothing but like a Patreon.
You've done a Cyberpunk.
At the time. Yeah, like 3 or 4 supporters. And we're like, oh no, like this isn't good. You know, and then as we started making it through, we got up to, I think before the first issue went out, almost 100 Patreons. And we were like, dude, like, I don't care what it takes. This magazine is going to be done and is leaving. Yeah. You know, we have so many people that have now poured their time and commitment and money into this. We cannot let these guys down. So, so we got it out. And now that we have a process down and we have a relationship with the people who are doing the printing and we pre-bought a lot of the stuff for the next run already. So like those poly plastics that the magazines come in, we pre-bought like 1,000 of those to get us past the next couple issues. And we're trying to be proactive that way. We can get the next issue out in a more timely fashion, especially now that we're learning the shipping times. You know, even though it might take 5 days in the US, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, you know, for it to get out to the UK. It's just, and it's so weird because we have a couple people who are in the US who sent out at the same time who just were getting theirs yesterday or haven't even received theirs yet, you know? So it might be because of just the time that we're in right now and the holiday and all that. But yeah, we're definitely.
We had our election too, like going on, like right when,
right when we sent them out.
So that was a whole other like shipping delay right there. So
Yeah, and we're like, well, hopefully we can avoid that. And then I get to thinking about it, and I'm like, oh no, man, the next issue is going to be right Christmas and New Year, you know. So we're literally we're making it as hard on ourselves as we can. But you know, we have to do it that soon, because in order for the content in the magazine to still be relevant by the time it gets to everybody, you know, we're trying to put content in there. And that's why a lot of the stuff is a lot of people we work with are newer devs and stuff, because they're working on stuff that isn't slated to be out for
that
3-4
makes
months
complete
from now.
sense. That makes
You know, so
complete
that way by the
sense.
time you get the magazine, it's still a work in progress.
It's a
and it's not
preview.
out.
It's a preview, not
Exactly.
so much a review. Yeah.
You know, so pushing back the magazine any further than that is just, it makes it hard. So, you know, and initially we wanted to do it monthly, and with 2 people and getting that much content in, it was not feasible to do.
Yeah.
So, so here we are, bi-monthly, and I think it's the way to go for us, from a productivity perspective, so we can make sure that we're not just putting crap in there to put crap in there.
Yeah.
That where we have it set in there a specific way to make sure it's all cohesive and people want to look at it. So
So let's talk. So let's talk about pricing of this in case anyone hasn't signed up yet. How much is a digital subscription to your magazine?
yeah, so the digital is $1, and that's US. I think I've seen some come through at like $1.15. Well,
Now,
I guess
what
you
is
don't
it
call
now? Is that what have you based these prices on? I mean, is that the average rate? Because when you said $1, I thought, I mean, you could have pushed $1.99 for a magazine, really, but
Yeah, well, we were like, okay, well, it's digital, and our goal was like, we want as many people. Okay, we're just coming into this, right? You guys don't, the VR community, they might know who I am. They don't know who Cody is. They don't know who VR Trend is. We're brand new, right? So for us to ask, I think it was more of a like, I feel like we haven't earned the right to ask for anything more than $1.
okay.
Right? We need money to support and put it out, but at the time it's like, it's a digital, right? So once we complete the magazine, it's just a digital copy that we can send to everybody anyway. So there's no cost associated with that because it's already done.
Yeah.
But it gets it out in everyone's hands, and it helps support us. And the people who maybe can't commit $4.99 a month or $8.99 a month or whatever tier they sign up for, they can still be involved in it.
So what tiers have you got available? You've got the $1 a month for the digital version. Is there like a digital supporter version as well? So say I wanted to say to you, yeah, I want the digital version, but I'd also like to give you some more money. Is that available? Is there like a $2.99, a $3.99? Is there like
there isn't, and I mean maybe that's something we could implement in the future. I mean we have
like digital plus or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean we have 2 people right now who signed up for the $4.99 and messaged us and said, "Yo, I only need the digital copy. I don't need you to send me one. I just wanted to support you." You know, so we've had people reach out and do that, but we didn't have a way to do it. Like, you know, when we were trying to decide, okay, we're putting out a magazine, how do we take in subscriptions and how do we keep track of it? You know, we were trying to figure out the best way to do it, and we landed on Patreon, which in retrospect isn't really the best way to do it as far as keeping track of everything. But you know, we're trying to think of, okay, what sounds the most cost effective? So we go and we start looking online. We're like, okay, you know, 12 issues of Game Informer magazine, you pay $25 for the year. You know, obviously they're sending out 100,000, 300,000 magazines, so their cost per issue is probably $1 and not $8. You know, so I mean, there's a huge difference in cost associated with it. So we were trying to make it as, I guess, as affordable as we could, and still at least be able to cover our costs and shipping. So that's kind of where we started with the beginning Patreon. So the supporter dream was $1, and you know, I mean, we have 20 plus of those supporters. So that's $20 that we get that goes towards shipping of maybe someone in the UK where shipping is an extra $6. You know, so it helps make up for those costs because, you know, I think I was talking earlier. Gamertag, I think you were grabbing your coffee, but to ship a magazine to the UK, I mean, when you look at a cost of a magazine as being, you know, maybe $6 to $8, the shipping to the UK is $11. You know, to ship a magazine to the UK. So when you're paying, say, $6.99 a month, you're paying probably $12 an issue. You're covering almost your shipping for us. So
So
Yeah,
we're
so-
single-handedly blaming you, basically.
Yeah,
is
it's
what's
your
going on
fault.
here, so.
No, so you know, so we're relying on our,
Oh
our
my
$20.
god, that's
we're-
insane.
So we're
It's
relying on digital.
gold.
We're
Gold!
yeah. So we're relying on our digital supporters and our supporters who are paying us. I mean,
guys.
we have some like Team 21. You know, the guys behind Elysia who are supporting at $19.99 a month, right? So I mean that's huge because that pays for like 4 international shipping customers.
Well, from now
And
on,
that's
I'm
kinda
just going to
how-
pay my own international shipping if that's okay.
No. I mean, this is
Because I had no idea. You should at least. If I'd have known that, I would have paid it. I didn't know.
no.
I'm like,
We have it.
oh man.
We have it set up in a way. We have it set up in a way where the amount of people international and the amount of people that are local, because local shipping for us is $1.19 or something
Right.
like that, right? So the difference, it's evening out. I mean, by the time we hit maybe 200 Patreons, I'm hoping we'd be at the point where it pays for itself. Like it's self-sustaining. So anyone else we get, we're able to just nail out the magazines and there's no additional cost.
I know there's people in this
to me
chat
and
and people
Cody.
who will listen to this later on and stuff that have communities and friends and stuff. And you should check it out. You should check this out. It's really cool. Sadly, it's Bradley actually said something really cool. Made me look at it a different way. He said, I feel if people like the digital version of the magazine, they are likely to upgrade later on to the physical. So is it possible that you could put a page in here about the subscriptions and about to advertise itself? You know, at the same time.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good idea to put at the end of there, and you know, and we have a lot of people who do that, especially when we rolled out with the Population 1 posters in the last issue. We had a lot of people jump from a digital or from you know, a VR trendsetter up into our metaverse or Knights of the Metaverse, so they could get that poster. You know, so and that's huge for us. You know, that.
Do you know what you need to do? Do you know what I want you to do? I want you to do a VR trend skin in Population 1.
Would that be sick, dude? I reached out. So I saw your skin and what's that X0? What's that
Zero?
Oh, the spaceship thing, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Zero
Yeah.
R? Hold on, what is it?
Was that Matt? Don't you have a skin in that?
Z-Race.
Oh
yeah.
yes, we've got
Yeah.
skins.
Yeah,
yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Those
cool.
are sick, man.
Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
I couldn't believe it. And to be honest, certain things.
The
it's re-
renderings, I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
You know what you
But-
should do too? Dash Dash is really cool about doing custom skins. You should reach out to Dash Dash and see if you can partner with them for a specific skin that comes in the physical copy of the magazine as a card.
It's not even
Oh.
skins. Like with games, you got billboards.
That's genius. Yeah, and I mean we have people like Smash Drums, Podum, great guy. You know, he put our VR trend poster in his game,
Mhm.
right? You know,
Well,
so
now
you
I'm gonna
see it
play
on the
Smash
levels
Drums.
on the wall.
Now I'm gonna
and
play
it's
Smash
just-
Drums.
And it's so cool because that's such a cool way to like
Mhm.
to help us,
Yeah.
you know, and build some sort of brand recognition, you know, because it's hard, especially when you're looking at, you know, digital and news and stuff. There's so many people doing it, you know, and
Yep.
and you have the big guys like, you know, Upload VR and VR Focus and all these people who are pumping out so many articles a day, and we're just pumping out a magazine every 2 months, you know. So trying to stay relevant and trying to keep everyone, you know, thinking about us and remembering that we're here and we're trying to foster a community too is, you know, it's a little harder because we don't have that.
I think what a magazine can
engagement.
offer though is like I think the main focus is about community stuff that you're reporting on stuff. Yeah, like you're going to report on events, things that have happened. There's nothing wrong with having basically a VR diary of a couple of months of what has happened. And as you said, and the indie scene will give you the preview that you're after and then also you got your reviews going in.
Yeah, and what we want to do at the ending pages, so we're going to be doing a couple things. What we want to do is we want to put a VR events page, so maybe list out the next 3 months and what events are going on in VR chat, Oculus venues, you know, Rec Room or whatever events might be unfolding within VR, and just list them in there. So people can look at it and use it as kind of a guide to, oh shoot, next Thursday this is going on, maybe I should sign up for it or whatever. Because a lot of people don't look at, you know, the calendars for events going on in, you know, VR chat or Rec Room or Space or whatever the case may be, you know. So I think something like that we're trying to find ways to add value to keep people wanting to come back and look at it, right? To see what was going on in that time. And so many people were commenting on the Twitter and saying, oh, you know, the tips and tricks, the best part about that was like the cheat codes and pages and stuff like that, and the walkthroughs and stuff. And I got thinking, and I was like, dude, how cool would it be to do like a 6-page walkthrough of Star Wars, right? You have some photos of their
walkthroughs, man.
Walking through it.
Walkthroughs.
Yeah,
like,
a VR
or like
game.
where the
collectibles are.
Where the droids are, at least, or something like that.
Yeah, so stuff like that, you know, implement in there, and just stuff that keeps people coming back to be like, oh shoot, man, maybe I should check this out. So we're constantly thinking about those ideas, and you know, we encourage the community to get involved in it. And if you have something, or you have an idea, or you want to submit an article or anything like that, I mean, send it to us. I mean, we want you to be a part of it, and we want you to be in it. And if you're in the magazine and we have an article of you in the magazine that you're published, we send you an extra issue to give to friends and family, or that sort of thing, you know. Obviously, you know, we're not the point where we can pay all of our editors and content creators and that sort of stuff. So we're trying to figure out how we can, you know, we can thank you for your time and effort.
Yeah, but that's, as far as I'm concerned, this is something that you're speculating to accumulate, sort of thing, aren't you? Everyone is hoping that if they put something into this, everyone's gonna get something out of it. That's the idea, isn't it? Of this, and at the same time, even people being involved in the magazine, who knows where it goes? Do you know what I mean? It might not be.
Yeah.
Maybe the physical version doesn't carry it. Maybe the digital will be the way forward. But either way, there's nothing else quite centered around the community as this that I know of. And this is really cool. Like, I've never read something and gone, I know that guy. I know, I've worked with that guy. Oh, I played that game with that guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never had that. And
yeah,
it was incredible. It is amazing. I love
Thank
it
you so much.
I do. I love it. And I can't imagine how it feels to accomplish, how that must have felt to get that in your hands. It must have been awesome.
It was unreal. Like I remember like sitting there, like I think Cody was sitting at his desk, and I took the test magazine. I just drop it on his desk, and he's like, "Is this it? Is this it?" We did it. We made it, and we're flipping through it, and we're just like, "Oh my gosh, dude, we did it." And then you know, you sit there that night and you look through it 100 times, and you're reading every article. You're like, okay, what mistakes are in here before this goes to print? And it just felt, yeah, it was an amazing experience. And that's like the hope we want everyone to have when they get it, especially the people who are in it, you know, like you know, like Vivian and VR Gamer do. We want them to open it and be like, dude, I did this. This is me, and I'm now in this magazine with all these other people, and it's like it's history, you know. It's something that's going to be there forever for you. So
yeah, it's like a time capsule snapshot of what's going on in the VR community at the time. That's what's powerful about it.
Like I have you know, I have tips and tricks and all my old magazines that just sit in my bathroom, you know, for just some nice leisurely look throughs sometimes. That's going to be this magazine, guys. 5 years from now, you're going to be sitting there, and you're going to look over to your left
on
the
crapper
magazine tray. Yep, you're going to pull it out, and you're going to be like, man, those were the days. You know, those were the days.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's an amazing story. I wish you all the best with this. I really do. Look at that. The game of the moment really has got a full back page picture.
Plus, you can't miss out on the giant poster that it came with, too. I still haven't hung it up yet because I don't have room, but it is amazing.
It is. And funny enough, this come up today. So I only heard about this game, right? You're saying a little bit about, I'm not sure about people seeing stuff new. Sushi, Ven VR. Now,
yeah, I love that, dude.
I hadn't heard about
it.
Art style.
Yeah, the art style.
So it's
yeah,
a game that's in progress, right? He's working on it. But the art style of the game and his key art and stuff is just, it's just my aesthetic, man. I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. So I'm excited for that. And it's, if you read about, you've probably read the article, but you know, he made the game, and it's based around like a guy he used to work with at his sushi shop, and it has a story, and it's just cool. It's so
and the
cool.
way he tells the story too is like he has like manga box pop-ups that come up, so like it's just like this really unique art style.
I love my anime, dude. I love my manga.
And it's so, and that's the stuff I mean, this is stuff that doesn't get, you know, there's so much stuff coming out in VR. There's so many people doing so many things that a lot of this stuff is great great stuff, and it just gets lost.
Mm.
You know, so it's nice to see that brought up. I didn't know about it either. You know, I came across it on Twitter when we were asking for submissions and stuff, and I was like, dude, how isn't this a thing? How aren't people jumping on this? You know,
Yeah.
And supporting this. Same with the gentleman Fletcher Studios who's doing it for autism. I'm like, dude, this is something everyone should be behind, because this is meant to help people. You know, and and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for ways to introduce
if you want to do
VR to new people.
If you ever want to do a VR trend podcast, I'm happy to try and help out or do whatever. I'm sure me and Matt will do stuff to help if you need it.
Yeah. One question I have that I think would be good for the chat: the physical version of number 1 is not available currently, right?
So we put an extra 10 on our website that we had for sale on our merch store, and they sold out instantly.
They're a collectible. It could be a collectible.
Yeah, they literally
that's
sold
the
out
truth.
like that, and I was like, okay, cool. I had 10 that sold out, and I only had 8 in inventory. So I had to get 2 printed to get them shipped out. And to print 2 magazines is $23 a pop when you're not doing quantity. So it was rough, but we got it fulfilled. So we took it off for now, and what we're gonna do is our plan is to reprint issues of the first copy to sell for people who've missed out on the first copy.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do that print at a later date when we can bundle it in with a larger order. That way we get the quantity discounts.
So
Sure.
sadly, it's Bradley. As you said, I will pay $23 for issue 1.
I will pay $23.
So that's what I'm trying to say. You need a way to
There we
communicate
go.
with people and say, we can do this, but it will cost that. Like, there's no,
Yeah.
I know that's
Now, the other thing too is, can people get access to the digital version at least of the first issue if they join Patreon
Yep.
now?
Yeah, if you join the Patreon now, so it's just back in our digital posts, and you unlock it as soon as you become a Patreon. You get access to the Discord and all the Patreon unlocks. One of them is a digital PDF. You can take it, you can look at it, you can download it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's there for you, and it's available. So
Mark Potter. I think Mark Potter is a channel member as well. If anyone's in the UK, I have got a copy bagged up. Actually, I got 2. So if anyone wants one, I can send that out. But as long as you can send me proof that you signed up for the Patreon, then I will send you that copy as well, so you won't miss out. So that's
PD is asking about that actually right now.
yeah. So Mark Potter's in the UK. So dude,
Oh yeah.
he's already part of the group and stuff. And yeah,
Make sure you charge him $23 for it.
all right.
yeah,
Just DM me in the Discord, man, and we'll sort that out. I'll get that shipped out as soon as possible. That magazine
Yeah,
could
so
be worth hundreds of dollars in the future. Hundreds. Just don't know.
oof. Yeah. Yeah, we're excited, man. We're excited to implement more, more into the magazine and just grow it. And it's looking like right now it's only getting bigger and it's only getting better. And we have so many people who are jumping on board, and we couldn't be more grateful. So it's awesome. And thank you guys, for taking the time to, sit and chat with us about it and help out, and help get the word and spread it out there to everyone. I mean, that's huge. That's huge for us. When you're working on something, I think the hardest part is getting people to see it, and when people like you guys who have built a following and built such a good brand and respectable name for yourself come out and show this to your people, it's huge. I mean, that's the difference. Like, what you guys do is the difference between someone like us succeeding and not succeeding. And it's huge. So thank you so much. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, really.
Thank you guys for putting all of the work into it. It's an amazing and unique thing that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in, as long as we can get the word out there and people can see it.
Yeah.
Exactly, dude. That's exactly it. So yeah, thank you ever so much for that. Now it is time. So guys, I haven't got my screen sharing on, so you're gonna have to get the live stream up, because I'll be doing a couple of trailers and stuff, and there's like an 8 to 10 second delay, I think, what it is. And but you're about to see the VR news segment. So yeah, let's get on with some VR news. I forgot to tell them to pose for when it cuts back, but that's fine. I'm sure they did some sort of pose anyway. So, Ven VR Adventure. Now, platformers in VR are absolutely incredible. I'm sure all of you who have played Astrobot will agree. And I think Astrobot currently for me is the best VR platformer I've played. Do you think that, Matt, as well?
Yeah, definitely. Moss is great, but I think that Astrobot did so many amazing things that it's just, if you haven't played it, you have PSVR, you're really missing out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know a lot of people are loving the PS5 one as well. And all I keep hearing is, oh, I wish this is VR. I wish this is VR. Because virtuality really helps platformers. I think, personally, I think it adds another level to them. So, a new challenger is approaching, and it goes by the name of Ven VR Adventure. This new platformer is coming to Oculus Rift on December 17th. Oculus Quest is planned for release on Oculus Quest 1 and 2 for Q1 and Q2 of 2021. And yes, it will be cross-buy. So, let's take a look at the latest trailer. No, we won't, because I've just clicked the wrong screen. But now, we will look at the latest trailer.
We have emerged from hyperspace safely. Initiating the awakening sequence.
Oh, hi. My name is Ven. Your scouts told me you were coming. They have taught me some of your customs. Great. Let's get some stuff done.
And there is the latest trailer. What do you guys think of that in the chat? I actually think it looks fantastic. I can't wait to play that.
I think it looks awesome. Are we muted or are we unmuted?
So do you know what I've done, Matt? Right. So anyway, guys, on the show, right, I've got this habit of only muting Matt and not myself, because we found out while watching Mark Zuckerberg that if his audio is live, it basically like reverbs a little bit and it doesn't sound right. It sounds like an echo. So I have to mute Matt. Do you know what I'm doing now? I'm muting myself and you.
Okay, there we go.
That's fair.
So you remember.
That's fair, exactly. Because what would happen is I can hear Matt all the time, even though no one else can. So I'm thinking the guy is unmuted. So yeah, that's it. I've learned, I've tried, I've changed.
Okay, but yes, it looks amazing. One thing that looks unique to it that I just noticed watching this time, because I've watched this a couple times before, it looks as if the VR perspective of the camera moves along with Ven like a traditional platformer game. I don't know if that's because they're filming it that way with the camera, because like if you think about like with Astrobot and Moss, most of the time you're in one spot and the character moves around you through the environment, and then it moves to the next spot once you get to the edge of the screen or to the next area. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the way this is, or if this one almost looks more like a traditional platformer where the camera actually moves along with the character.
I don't know how that would, because the way I'm used to it when you play platformer in VR, the platform itself moves,
Yes.
right? You're
Yep, right.
stationary and the environment moves around you, right? I'm wondering if it is just the way they shot it for the trailer, because I have a feeling, I don't know. I think people who are prone to VR sickness,
Yes. That's what I'd be worried about.
Yeah, I would be a little worried about it. But this game, so like these guys posted not too long ago on their Twitter, and they posted an image from like months ago. They showed what the game looked like, right, running, and then they showed the changes they made since then, and it was night and day difference.
Yeah,
It's
the
looking so good.
detail in the game
It's
as
unreal.
well, and
Yeah.
and you know, like you can look at it on a flat screen. You know, you've got a good looking game because what you look at now in traditional games is kind of like quite a really high quality now, especially PS5 and stuff. And VR kind of always had a bit of a backstep. AAA games were up there, but the rest of them, you're like, oh, you know. I've had people say to me, this game looks like it's on PS2. But when you see this looks now anyway. Like, to me, this looks now. So you know when you see this in VR, it's going to look fantastic. And talking about the camera scheme, in my mind, it looks like they're actually flipping between moments, a bit like Astrobot. So you could walk into a level on Astrobot and say the game knew there was going to be collectibles around you in a 360 area, the camera would stop and probably not move as much as it should do to give you time to then walk around, and then as you kept moving it would then attach itself again and then carry on. It looks amazing to me. I love platformers. I love platformers.
I'm wondering how they'll implement the VR. You know, like they show at one point where the player's reaching down and petting.
Yeah. That was cool.
Ben. I'm wondering how else they will implement those touch features into the game, whether it's like lifting up a bridge or like doing other things to interact with the environment as opposed to just controlling him, right? So
that was one of my favorite parts about like Moss or Astrobot, was physically doing stuff inside of VR with your controllers and feeling like you have a presence in there, because I think that's what's unique about platformers in VR. You actually have a physical presence. You're not just controlling a character. So for instance, in Moss, you're the ghost. And you can pet Quill, and you can lift things up. Astrobot's kind of the same type of thing. And in this, it seems like it's even more like that, because it's almost like the story revolves around you and you meet up with this character to go through the story, because you're in a spaceship at the beginning, which I didn't realize. We were jumping from like planet to planet. I didn't know what the story was until I saw this. But it looks as if you're some sort of a character in a spaceship, and you and Ven, or if Ven is the name of the character, I'm not sure if that's the case or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm assuming it is, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you're going to planet. So I think that is probably going to be a very important part of it, that physical interaction, based just on what they're showing in the trailer. They want to make sure that people can see they have a physical presence, and it's not just that one character that you're controlling.
Yeah, and like someone's saying over there in the chat, I've missed your name, sorry, Ratchet and Clank, Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, Jack and Daxter as well. That was the first one that came into my mind when I saw this. Was Jack and Daxter. So, and obviously we're talking about that interaction. That is selling another level of VR that you won't get outside of it. So that's awesome. But
I think that's one of the things that makes it unique, and nobody really understands that part of platformers in VR until they try it, and then they're like, "Wow! I mean, it's a totally unique experience. If you've never played a platformer in VR, then you have to try, because I grew up on platformers. I love Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Crash Bandicoot. I love the original Crash Bandicoot. I've beaten all of them in the new re-release on the PS4.
nice.
Platformers are just amazing, but in VR, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's cool is like platformers give you games like this. I feel like would give you that extra bit of longevity, because I'm going to assume there's different difficulty settings, right? And different maybe achievements or things you can do throughout each one would be my guess. So, I'm hoping it's one of those games that gives you a reason and promotes playing through it over and over again at different difficulties.
Yeah, man. I always think to myself, and by the way, there is a beta now at the moment. So if you join their Discord, and I can post that actually, I should be able to share that anyway. I'll share it in my Discord afterwards. Just get involved. But I always think to myself, we're still the early days of VR. I still remember that my brain went crazy when I saw Sonic 2 from Sonic 1, and you had Tails as another character and stuff like that. And I think to myself, oh man, I can't wait to see where this stuff goes. And yeah, this game actually, as the Bearded Bard said, has definitely like gone up a level from when we first saw it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, absolutely. When I'm looking at this, the artwork and the detail, and it is amazing.
I would buy this game on a flat console to try it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I saw this promoted now, I'd be interested in it. Because a lot of people expect now with platformers them to have a name, don't they? But then Astrobot never had a name, really. I think everyone who's looking forward to Astrobot had experienced Astrobot with the free Playroom experience. That's the only way you knew who he was. There was like a little 10-15 minute level, I believe, in Playroom VR, which was free. And I remember playing that and thinking, dude, this would be incredible, because as you're going through with the character, like the vines come over your headset and little things like that. Like in Astrobot, you headbutt the boards, don't you? You have to do stuff to... Oh man,
That's another way that Sony did really good with that one is the interaction in that, because you actually take your controller and you flip him out of the
oh yeah,
touchpad.
and the
So,
ninja
I mean, it's
stars.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just a unique, shows the unique things that can come from a VR game, even from that part.
Yeah. You guys, you into platformers then? Yeah.
Okay. I like platformers, but I would not say that I am the biggest fan of platformers.
Oh, what's your favorite? I take it you've all played Mario 64.
Yeah. I was like a Banjo-Kazooie guy. That was my favorite game for Nintendo 64 back in the day. I loved Banjo-Kazooie. I loved it.
Nice. With the bird, he used to.
Yeah.
He was. I used to think. I think Mario was more out of order to Yoshi than Banjo was to Kazooie, because like Mario would punch Yoshi in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure someone slowed that down, that animation, and said he wasn't actually punching him or something, but it always looked like he was whacking him in the head all the time to get something happening. So moving on to Epic Games, Star Wars Squadrons update. If you've been struggling with Star Wars Squadrons VR performance since launch last month, this might be the update that fixes things for you. I have downloaded it today, and it is 1.6 gig. It's released now. It releases a new map called Fostar Haven. It also brings a lot of tweaks specifically for VR. Most noticeably, developer EA Motive has increased the resolution of skyboxes, which should hopefully offer a notable difference to the game's visuals, and there's also an option on PC to adjust the VR resolution scaling. That's actually really important. I can see a very big difference in certain games drop in scale. So yeah, that's pretty cool, because at the end of the day, I think when I played Squadrons, I loved it, but any frame stutter in VR is, after a while, I didn't want to play it the third time. After like my mad excitement of playing it for like 4 or 5 hours, the third time I was thinking, I don't know if I want to play this, because it was, the stutter just seemed more prominent than the fun I was having. But that's all gone now. Players using high resolution headsets such as the Valve Index, and I'm not sure the G2 is mentioned in here yet, should be able to enjoy higher frame rates without requiring the most powerful GPUs. So yeah, that's all going to be coming, and that is out now. So if you've got Squadrons on Steam, I think they mention that on PS5 there is some enhancements as well, but I don't know if it carries over to PSVR. I am going to be doing a live stream tomorrow on the PlayStation 5 using my PlayStation VR, and I'm just going to try out some games. I've heard Dreams is like the most drastic difference, because it's got the unlocked resolution, dynamic resolution, and hopefully it'll make use of that. So, but yeah, you guys all fans of Squadrons?
So I wasn't, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just better. Yeah, it's better that everyone has different tastes.
So I downloaded it because my neighbor, who's into VR, me and my neighbor met in VR 6 years ago. He was living in California at the time. We met playing raw data in VR, and he lived in California, and we got to talking. And then 2 years later, he ended up moving up here. And we did a bunch of VR stuff together. And he's a big Star Wars buff. So we downloaded the game and we jumped in it, and we jumped on multiplayer, and I did my first barrel roll. And I was like, nah, dude, this isn't the game for me, man.
Do a barrel roll.
I typically don't get motion sick in VR, but there's something in that game. That game and No Man's Sky are the two games that will get to me after a while. So after playing about 1 or 2 games, I was like, it's fun. It looks great. But I probably won't spend too much time in it.
Cody, are you into it?
I actually haven't gotten a chance to try it yet, even though it's pretty much looks like one of my dream games. I've always kind of fantasized about, having a VR headset, sitting in my chair, flying around Star Wars Galaxy. I just haven't had time yet to play it.
It is amazing. It is amazing. On the HOTAS as well. I'd never played a game on with a HOTAS before, and it was it's actually plays better with a HOTAS or hot ass, whatever you want to call it. It plays better with that than actually a controller, man. But you should definitely jump in if you got any Star Wars like dreams or fantasies. Then
it's on the list. It's on the list for sure.
Yeah, I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I haven't had the chance to play as much as I would like, and I have not tried it online because I'm a really big single player fan of games like that. But I think that it's really cool, especially with the HOTAS.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we haven't played together in that, Matt.
I know we haven't played together in a long time, actually.
No, I know. Do you know what I'd love? I'd love to do that scene on Hoth.
Yeah.
That'd be great, and like trying to take the
Yeah.
AT-ATs down. You could be piloting, and I could be shooting the hook.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh.
awesome.
That's the stuff I want in VR. That's the stuff I
Yeah.
want in VR. Did you get my tweet, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah, nice, dude.
Let's see what we got. So I'm actually going to be checking this next game out hopefully soon. But it's called Guardians VR. And it's an upcoming Oculus Quest and PCVR game. It's really unique, actually. It mixes first-person shooter and RTS games. And it's both single player and multiplayer. It's developed by Virtual Age. Guardians is set in a far-flung future in which elite teams of soldiers travel to alien planets to extract a mysterious energy source. You're tasked with fending off each planet's inhabitants as you secure those resources. That essentially boils down to a shooter in which you gun down hordes of bug-like enemies with the assistance of NPC units and base components you can summon. Guardians offers a full single-player campaign with 12 levels across 3 planets, but there's also a drop-in cooperative multiplayer to help even the odds and PvP modes too. The game's aim is to launch in Q2 of 2021 and is currently in beta, and will be coming to PC via Steam and Quest via SideQuest.
This actually looks really good. I'm playing the trailer in the middle, by the way, while you're talking.
Yeah. So it looks really interesting. I mean, it's like a fast-paced FPS type of game, but at the same time, you're trying to spawn soldiers and weapons and tanks, I think, and stuff like that. Just like if you were in an RTS game, and you actually drag and select. So, like if you're standing there and you need to select some soldiers and tell them where to go, you drag with your controller and point where you want them to go, and you guide them. So, I mean, it's got a lot of interesting aspects to it, both FPS and RTS.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at it now, man. It actually does look really good. But yeah, when are you getting access? I did email back and say yeah, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I was talking, or I got an email. I just haven't really done a lot with email yet.
No, I'm struggling
I've been
to
so
keep
busy.
up. Yeah.
That looks like a game, Cody. That looks like a game you'd like, man.
Yeah, man. You had me like RTS. I'm a big like StarCraft guy.
Cody's
I love,
Idaho
like, Halo
State
and stuff.
Idaho State champion for
2007, man. 2007.
really?
Really?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about
no, this is the kind of the stuff that excites me too with VR. It's just like different elements you can put in. And
yeah,
I
to
feel
mix
like we're just at the
FPS
beginning
and
stages.
RTS, that is
Yeah.
pretty unique and cooperative and multiplayer.
Oh man,
There's a lot going on there. Have you played Final Assault then, Cody?
I have not. No.
Have you
I
not?
think
haven't
we
yet.
just got keys for it. We haven't played it yet.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Phaser Lock Interactive, who were in the chat earlier, are the developers of that game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they're freaking great, man.
they developed the Turok series on Nintendo 64.
Oh, what?
I know.
Turok.
No,
Yeah,
really?
Oh, yeah.
What? That's
And
awesome.
South
Okay.
Park.
No way.
And South Park.
Oh, okay.
So they done this
Wait. South Park? Which South Park?
on N64 where you pissed on the,
The
snow.
one where you
Turok.
shoot the.
Turok?
You done Turok, yeah, they done a Turok series, and they done the South Park as well.
What?
That was like my first 64 game, I think.
What, South Park or Turok?
Turok, yeah.
Turok, yeah, it had to be, man. Turok
Dude,
was
South Park was
amazing.
such a fun. The multiplayer on South Park was so fun.
Yeah, I know, yeah, it's good. But yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Turkeys, yeah.
When I met them,
Oh,
and I done like a little, I played the game, or was going to play the game, and they told me their backstory, and I interviewed them, and it is an amazing developer story. It really is. And then they told me that stuff, and I was like a fanboy. I'm like, oh, dude, so you like made the cerebral bore in Turok, you know what I mean? And
Sounds like the best article.
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Sounds like
Yeah,
the
you
best
go.
article.
That's absolutely
Only
awesome.
someone is making some sort of magazine or something to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you need people to interview them, I'd definitely be up for that. I love interviewing developers. They're like this. They are the music makers, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, Lunatic Turok. I couldn't believe it when I
That's so
saw it.
crazy.
When they told me, I was like, no way. You guys are celebrities. Do you know what I mean? It's so amazing. That's what it feels like to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Because those games mean so much to me. It's like,
Yeah.
I've just rebought. I've actually just rebought the remakes on Steam, and they're only like £2 or £3, and it's so good. Even the music, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I was sitting down having coffee in the little town I live in, and I'm talking to this guy next to me, and we get talking about VR, and we're talking about all this stuff, and turns out he was one of the original developers of the Myst game, right? And Myst thing. And I'm sitting here like,
random.
Wait, I'm talking to someone who like helped mold this new genre of like puzzle gaming and stuff like that with the Myst series, and
it's coming back out, isn't it? They're doing a new.
Yeah, they're gonna have a VR version of it, man, and it's gonna be probably pretty good.
Yeah,
would be my assumption. I could do. I to this day can't think of a game harder than Myst, in my opinion, as far as a puzzle game, because it's a game where like it starts and you just do, like you don't know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
you're just there, and it's just the hardest way to play a game, but. It's exciting, man.
Sounds epic, dude. Sounds epic. And yeah, so you'll have to get like Phaser Lock. I'll get hold of them if you want. I'm sure I don't know if you know them or whatever, but I'll get them in your magazine, 100%, 100%, because that'd be one hell of a backstory anyway. So next up, HTC offers Black Friday discounts on the Vive Cosmos. Does anyone want me to read this first? Because every time we talk about the Cosmos, no one's really interested. But let's try it. Let's go because Viveport, Viveport, which is really good. Viveport annual subscriptions are also discounted to $7.50 a month. That's really cool. So and Phasmophobia's in there, which is brilliant.
Oh, in Viveport?
Yeah.
No shoot.
Yeah, you'll be able to claim a free copy of the game until November 30th. So you've got like 5 days to sign up to Viveport. So anyway, HTC Vive UK Black Friday deals. The Cosmos is down to £599. The Cosmos Elite is down to £799. And in America, the Cosmos is exactly the same price, which is strange. So the pound to dollar is 1-to-1 today. So if you're doing that exchange, don't do it today. It's so crazy, the pound to dollar thing sometimes. I'm like, how does that work out? Let me get a picture up because we've got a Sony patent to talk about. Because the sleeping giant that is PSVR.
I saw that. Yeah.
They will come back. They will come back. I'm certain of it. If they don't, I will be angry. But I'm pretty sure that PlayStation, when they come back to VR, dude, it's going to be in a big way. It's going to be a big way.
Just like the first time. They don't do anything small.
Dude, their exclusives were just insane. And when you think about like the headset as of now, forgetting the resolution, the comfort, the sound quality, do you know what I mean? Like it's things that let it down with time, but at the time it was the Quest of 2016. Do you know what I mean? Everyone went crazy for it. I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for the PSVR. I thought it was absolutely incredible.
I already see one thing on here that just gets me super jacked.
Go for it.
Looking at that photo.
What are the patterns?
And that's where it says the word haptic on the headset.
Exactly. So, Sony patent filing reveals VR headset with haptic feedback generator. This patent was filed September 30th, 2016, so it's not a new patent, okay? Which is crazy to think they were already thinking about this stuff. 2 weeks before PSVR itself launched on October 13th, Let's Go Digital have revealed in the patent, it mentions a headset fitted with haptics and LEDs. Additionally, or alternatively, one or more LEDs and one or more haptic feedback generators may be mounted on the headset for purposes to be shortly disclosed. That is like officially what it said. Upload VR goes on to say, now that's interesting. Could Sony have worked on a VR headset that itself offers haptic feedback in reaction to virtual worlds? Would that even work very well? I personally think it would. Haptic feedback technology is largely used in game controllers, especially the DualSense guys. Have you checked out PS5 DualSense at all?
Yeah, I just saw that video that's been going on Twitter.
Dude,
the guy playing, the guy playing like Call of Duty and like it clicking down. Oh my gosh,
it's
game changer.
I weren't even sure I liked it because when you go to like focusing on a scope, it feels like there's a lot of resistance there. So it feels like it takes time. It's weird.
So my thing about that is I'm when I first saw that, my first instinct was, well, I wonder what the lifespan on those controller triggers are going to be. Right? I'm worried about that, you know.
Hopefully a long time. They're like £60.
Someone, yeah, I know. There's a picture on Twitter at one point in time, and it's just hardened plastic inside for the gears inside.
Okay.
So I don't know how. I always did a lot of testing, so hopefully they hold up for long periods of time. GT, with your experience, what do you think as far as battery life goes? Do you think it reduces the battery life having haptics like that in the controller?
I don't know, because the Quest 2 controllers literally blew my mind on what is capable of a battery. Like, those fucking things are absolutely insane. I had the batteries in there. Well, I got the Quest 2 before launch, and I think it was like a month after launch. I was on the same AA batteries. A single AA battery.
I just took my batteries out of my Quest controller last night.
How did they do that?
No idea.
How did they do that?
It's insane because it's still got the feedback too. So it's not like it's not vibrating, and it vibrates a lot depending on the game you're playing.
Well, with the G2, which I'm not sure if anyone knows, but their life isn't very long with them. It's about, I put out as about 5-6 hours. It seems to be around the 5-6 hour mark. Then you lose haptics. So it shuts down to like a low power mode. And then you get like another hour or so.
Yeah, I don't like that. It just cuts your haptics.
That's double AA. I don't know if it's an option. I just remember it coming up, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. They're double AAs as well. So I'm just like, how did they? And no one really makes a big deal out of it. Like, everyone mentions it, but I'd love to get hold of the person at Oculus and go, how did you do that? Like, how did you do it? And he's probably like, I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not going to tell anyone. Because I remember that with the Rift S as well. The Rift S was a right pain. I remember I literally bought 8 of the like largest size AA batteries, as in what they can hold in energy, and got a adapter or a charger, because I was going through them quite regularly. But on the Quest 2, you just don't. You just don't go through them.
Well, we've played before, and my battery has run out in my controller. My hand goes flying off because they just died, randomly. It's insane how long they last. Like, I don't even know. It's some sort of voodoo magic.
I'm sure someone has anyone actually officially timed it, I wonder? But it's hard, isn't it? Because it would depend on the game you're playing, how much vibrations are in the game. There's so many things to factor in. Like you said about
what you're doing. My right controller died. My right controller was like a tick lower than my left one, so they didn't die close to the same time. So it has to be some sort of usability.
So prepared death, as you said, I got my Quest 2 on day 1 and they're still at 100%. And that's not true. That cannot be true.
So I got mine obviously when early, and I haven't changed mine yet, and they're probably at like 40%.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I've changed mine once.
Yeah, mine didn't start going down until Population 1 came out, and then it just was done, man.
Yeah. Funny thing about these controllers is there's no resistance. It's all about the motors. So, again, it's hard to say about the battery life, but I have had to charge these after the initial update. I've had to put these on charge. So I think you're looking maybe between 6 to 7 hours. Matt, have you had a look at this at all?
Yeah, probably around there, I'd say. I have 2 controllers. I charged both of them, and then I probably played for about 6 hours maybe, and then switched controllers and plugged it in, so that's probably about right.
But I'll tell you what, this is a premium feeling product.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It is actually
amazing. My favorite controller, I think, ever at this point.
It's the first thing I talk to people about, the PlayStation. The graphics, it's weird because the imagery is going to be based on what you're looking at it on. So, if you've got a 4K TV, HDR and all that stuff, and 120 hertz maybe, everyone sees different. But this, for me, is the real seller of the next gen thing at the moment. Like, I love the visuals, but I couldn't help but think, dude, that is crazy. Like, I kept thinking it, man, that's crazy. It was really cool. And I haven't actually finished Astrobot, and I've heard Astrobot does like a great, it's almost like the demo for this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really good. I love even in Spider-Man, you've beat that, but I love the resistance when you swing. It's just, it's unreal, really. And the thing that gets me most excited about it, though, is the opportunity for the future for VR using that kind of technology.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. Cheers, thank you. Free coffee.
Do you notice any
Oh.
like additional finger fatigue from playing with any of that, or?
I haven't really noticed any. I don't think.
I've done a lot of finger
I was just kinda
training,
curious.
so
Hey,
Strong
so
hands.
finger biceps. Sort of him. But yeah, Spider-Man, man. I was up at 5 a.m. I was up at 5 a.m. to play Spider-Man. Like, it's my first day off work, and I've been on earlies. And the dog tricked me the other day. Basically, I was in bed, and the dog got up, knocked on the door. I thought, oh, she wants to go out. I got up to let her out, and she jumped in where I was in bed. I was like, I was like, you cheeky fucker. So, yeah, man, I just went to work. I thought, whatever, I'm up now. But this morning, I woke up at the same time, and I was like, sweet. As normally I'd be annoyed. I was like, straight downstairs, straight on the PlayStation. Yeah, it was wicked.
Did you guys have to order the adapter, huh? Or did it come with? It didn't
I
come
had to
with the
order it.
adapter for the headset. You had to order it.
Yeah.
So are the new bundles just going to come with those, or is that something that everyone has to get online and order and wait days for to get?
The new VR bundles, I think, will start coming
Will just
with
come
it.
with them.
Yeah, I think they said starting in November. They said they're going to be shipping it with at least with the Iron Man bundle. I think is what it specifically said. I don't know what other bundles they have, but that's what it said. I think.
Yeah, so initially I heard it wasn't. It was country specific. It was like if you were in Japan,
Yeah.
the bundle got the adapter, something like that. I don't know if it's changed the rest of the world. I don't know, but I ordered mine. Funny enough, the ordering line went live when me and Matt were doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get one. It was just
Yeah.
like blocked up. It was dead. I was like, what the hell? So I waited a whole week, and then it basically took 2 weeks to get here. So it's not too bad. Do you know what I mean? And they're doing them, and they are for free. So I'm like,
Yeah.
probably get better
you
than
can't
free.
complain.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
You didn't have to pay shipping or anything.
no,
It's
nothing,
free.
dude.
No,
Nothing.
no.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's
They
cool.
do have you. They have you put in your serial number and everything for your PlayStation VR, so
Mhm.
they know that you already have it. Obviously.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
wanna send you
Your
scalpers.
PlayStation. Yeah.
The scalpers for the adapters. They're like, yeah,
Oh,
imagine
gosh.
that. Getting that low. So, yeah, Matt, did you want to take on In Death
Yep.
for us?
If I could find it.
I haven't heard from the
All right.
developers. I didn't know if there was a new trailer for this, but I couldn't find one.
There was, I think, or at least some picture. No, there's a picture of it.
Yeah, there's
But
pictures.
yeah. In Death is getting a free DLC called Siege of Heaven. It actually adds a new game mode to the game. It's a fully featured game within a game with shorter, more snackable session times. And when I talked to the developers a while ago about this, actually, they reached out to me to tell me about it and talk about it. They actually said one of the feedbacks they've gotten about this game is some people see that it's too scary to play through some of those other segments. They get scared playing through with the enemies all around them, or playing through the hell area, and these things are coming up behind them. So they wanted to create a mode that was more accessible to everyone. And so that's this mode. It says players can focus on having fun shooting for 15. Yeah, focus on having fun shooting for 15 minutes from a safe stationary position. It becomes kind of like a I've
Like
run a blank.
Wave shooter? Okay.
Yeah, like a wave shooter. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, we've had enough of wave shooters, but In Death are doing one, so it's fine.
It says you enjoy the game's beautiful visuals and arguably VR's best archery mechanics, including new leaderboards, new challenges, and new achievements. And they are quoted as saying, "Our goal was to enhance the game in a way that will engage and challenge the advanced players. And boy, it's that and more. But we also wanted to make it approachable for everyone else. We've heard our players say that they love to be able to share the fun with friends and family, but maybe the game was too scary or demanding. And we listen. We've all loved the archery from the lab, and this is how most of us got started in VR. With this DLC, we hope to bring this experience to VR's best platform, the Oculus Quest, so anyone should be able to pick up the game and enjoy the best their Quest has to offer at their own pace." It's going to be a free DLC, and it's going to be on Quest and Quest 2 on December 8th.
Dude, December's looking so
awesome.
busy.
I know, man. December's gonna be so good.
It was crazy because like making this show today, we was talking and we were like, there's not really that much really going on. You know, like Star Wars was probably the biggest thing that's happened in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then apart from the PS5 launch, but the impact on VR on that is, after what Sony have said, nothing really.
Yeah.
There's a couple of bits, like an example, I'm going to talk about Blood and Truth in a minute. But yeah, like you got Medal of Honor, Well, there's probably more than I can even remember. Like, but
Yeah.
Medal of Honor, I think is on. Is it the 13th or the 11th? Is it the 11th?
I don't know. I thought it was.
I
Like
think it's the 11th.
10th, 11th. Yeah. I think it was the 11th.
Is it the 11th?
I think.
Oh, I can't
remember.
wait for that game.
Not very much longer though. That's the one, probably the game I'm looking forward to the most in December.
Dude, I'm going to smash the hell out of multiplayer with loads of people on
December
it.
11th.
I knew it.
11th, good, yeah.
I knew it. I can't wait for that game. That is, like, that, as I said, and every week I say it, it's the best VR trailer made. Yeah. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Let's see.
What we got next? So, Oculus Quest 2 buyers can now claim a copy of Asgard's Wrath, and I think they've now changed it as well, where it's everyone.
Yep.
Everyone who's ever bought a Quest 2, if they plug in their Oculus Quest via Oculus Link, you will get a copy of the game, which retails currently for $40. And to be fair, it is an absolutely fantastic game, which I haven't finished.
Yeah, I haven't finished either.
It was that's the problem with doing this is that I wish I did more VR, more playthroughs, but I only do playthroughs when I know I've got the time. Instead of like someone going, oh, can you play this? Can you try this out? And you end up like just being all over the place. You know, you end up doing like brief windows into a game, hoping everyone goes, you know, either that's really bad or that's really good, and then away they go. And I'm like, right, moving on. And that's one of those games I really wished that I'd have really got into. So I'm hoping I can now.
You know, one game I know that I'm going to play through, Medal of Honor.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah, without question, yeah, like Medal of Honor, we're gonna be all over that. I can't wait. But if the multiplayer is that good, a bit like my Call of Duty thing, I haven't enjoyed a Call of Duty campaign or attempted. I have attempted, but since like Modern Warfare 2,
yeah,
because I just literally buy the game just for the online, because that's where my heart is. Do you know what I mean? I love that competitive side of it, and that's why I love Population 1 so much.
Yeah, Medal of Honor is going to have online too, so it could be absolutely amazing depending on how they did it.
Yeah, Secrets of. What about us poor Quest 1 users?
Oh, they don't. Quest 1 users don't get the Asgard's Wrath.
Matt said it, not me.
Unfortunately.
That's it. That's it. That's how it is. That's what's going on.
Way the news goes. That's
Yeah.
showbiz.
But it was really good they reversed that decision.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing when they first announced that.
Yeah.
When they sent when Oculus sent out, because they send to us brand ambassadors, we get an email like a week before any of that stuff happens, and they told us about it, and that was my first thought was, cool, the people who bought a Quest yesterday are gonna be so mad.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? There's a number of times where the early adopters, your first people to invest, because it is an investment, invest in your product, get shit on first. It's like it's very backwards.
It's so VR is like especially that way. I mean, like, so when I bought my original Vive, right after tax, I paid like $1,600 for it. The original Vive before the Vive Pro came out and all that with shipping and everything to get it to me when it first launched. Now I see used Vives on the internet for $300, and it makes my heart just sink, dude. So.
I sold my CV1
that's the price you pay
£150.
for being an early adopter. Same thing with when I bought when I got my Magic Leap. You pay the price for it, and now with everything going on with Magic Leap, you can get them for 1/5 the price. And it's like,
well, secrets of. I mean, I get this actually, because in a way, they're trying to promote the Quest 2, aren't they? That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But he is a Link user regardless, whether he's on Quest 1 or Quest 2, and he just said he will show Oculus his wrath. Yeah.
Write an angry letter.
That's it. Write an angry tweet, dude. An angry tweet. But yeah, I sold my CV1 for £150, and I kind of regretted that. That is the one headset I wish I would have kept, because it meant a lot to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I won't ever get rid of my PSVR, even though the thing is absolutely ruined. Really, the elastic's gone on the sides. All the padding's like must have some sort of illness where it's dying slowly. I don't know, but. Yeah, so talking about PS5 and PSVR, Blood and Truth uses dynamic resolution in all platforms. That means that it adapts its internal resolution to the actions so that we achieve a perfect frame rate at all times. The PS4 Pro version tops out at 1440p, and the PS5 allows it to go up to 4K. Even though PSVR display is only 1080p, all those extra pixels will be combined for a higher quality final result. Like most high-end PSVR games, Blood and Truth on PS4 runs at 60 frames per second with a reprojected 120 output on the headset. On PS5 it runs at 90 with 90 Hz output. So yeah, tomorrow Blood and Truth is one of the games I've got ready, locked and loaded, and I'm going to be finding out if this does make a difference. You know, I've heard it does and I've heard it doesn't. So
I guess it depends on what exactly you're looking for as far as a difference goes, because it's not going to change the visuals in the game like PS5 versus PS4 games.
no,
It's just taking a 4K image and downscaling it to the size of the displays, so you're getting a better pixel density and more pixels on the same screen.
yeah. So I'm just looking forward to checking it out, seeing how it goes. I've seen some screenshots of Dreams, and that looks awesome. Like, that actually does look very different.
Dreams is such a underrated game, dude.
Oh, it's amazing.
The stuff in, I mean, you could just get lost in that forever. There's so much stuff.
I love the VR content. I do.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And that's given me the opportunity to be in a game. I voiced Space Harrier. My friend done Space Harrier in VR in Dreams. It's so good.
The stuff people are doing in there too, I doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how it works.
What do you
It's
mean?
unreal.
On what level?
What?
Have you seen Donkey's video? Do you watch Donkey? YouTube.
No.
Okay, you need to watch his.
I only watch you two. You're
that
the only two I watch.
is
That's all I need to
bullshit.
know.
If you
Who?
you Donkey Gamer, you know, I had a Donkey
He's
Gamer.
like
Yeah.
the funniest game reviewer on
Thank you, Cody.
One of them. Yeah.
Talk
two,
to him,
top two.
dude. Talk to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you put in Dreams, I'm pretty sure his video will come up regardless. And watch that one, because there's one in there, and I can't remember. It's like a Scottish guy goes in the woods and he gets chased by a witch. It's such a very short game, but it was one of the first things I wanted to play in Dreams because it looks so funny.
Isn't that? I think you played that on your stream when you played Dreams, didn't you?
Yeah, hell yeah, I did. I was
Yeah.
like, Witchy Woods.
Witchy Woods. That's what it is. Yeah,
Witchy Woods. It's one of the best games. I absolutely love it. It's like, here we go in Witchy Woods, and he runs through, and the witch tries to get him. Oh, it's so good. Identity Crisis. I just booked the weekend off for the launch of Medal of Honor. Nice, dude. 3 days. I remember doing that for like Silent Hill 2, but I didn't book the day off. I had a half day, and yeah, I played it till Sunday night. Like, I literally only stopped playing it to sleep, and I've done it all weekend. Fucking, I love that game, mate. I can't believe no one's done Dead Space and Silent Hill 2 VR versions yet. Like,
Oh man.
That would be
legendary games. Legendary games. Still waiting. Joe Funk. Facebook seems to have a clear vision of what the future of VR should be since Oculus Quest 2 grows more and more and the Rift is abandoned. Do you think it's the beginning of the end of PCVR games? No, I don't think it's the end. I think as... Go on, Matt. You look like you had an opinion on that one.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that it's the beginning of the end of only, at least as far as Oculus is concerned, only standalone PCVR headsets from their point of view. I think their goal is to create a dual purpose headset that works as both. They'll continue doing both PCVR and standalone until in the future, if at some point it's possible to do the same quality on a standalone, which would be very far in the future if it's ever possible at all. But no, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's just a matter of adjusting focus so that they can do both, because there's always going to be people that want to utilize the PC power, not the mobile power.
Oh, absolutely. Why is there so many tech channels doing GPU reviews and fucking benchmarks and numbers? Do you know what I mean? Because people are obsessed. Why are people interested in the HP Reverb G2? Like, for me personally, that headset looks fantastic and is average for everything else. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to use it as my daily driver. It's in a box, unfortunately. And, but playing something like Squadrons or Half-Life, when you see that clarity at that level, Half-Life was phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
they looked real. I would say it is nigh on, like, double the crispest image I've ever seen in VR. I was like, this is incredible. But then at the same time, you've got to mess with Windows mixed reality. You've got to mess with tracking that is okay. And just Windows mixed reality in general is very like stuttery. Do you know what I mean? Things aren't quite right. You've got to open Oculus, you've got to open Steam, and then you've got to use Revive to do anything in Oculus. And then you've got the field of view, which, because you can't bring that headset any closer to your face just because of the way the plate is, the field of view might technically be wider. But with the Quest, you can bring it closer to your face because maybe you've got VR cover. Matt, maybe you've got VR cover. Maybe Matt's got the VR. I'm so jealous. Look at that.
It's so awesome. Sexy looking.
God damn. That is fucking sexy. That is the best looking Quest going at the moment, I think. But the Quest for me is always, in my opinion, has always been about a doorway into VR. That's what it's all about. It's all about that ease of, there's no headphones. It's like putting a hat on, a baseball hat, and you're in VR. And then people get to experience it, because that's the real problem with selling VR, is you have to experience it to then go, oh yeah, this is cool. And then I think what happens is people go for the Quest and they go, oh, what, you can play this game on PC? What's it like on PC? You'd be like, yeah, dude, it's got a resolution of this, and the frame rate's this, and there's more textures. People want that stuff.
Well, the thing is that I've seen it happen time and time and time again, just since the Quest launched. The Quest and Quest 2, for some people, not for everyone, but become a gateway to PCVR.
Yeah.
So they see Quest, love VR, they fall in love with it because maybe they've never used it before or it's never been accessible before. Now all of a sudden they're like, I got to get a gaming PC because I've got to play these titles on PC now that I know how much I love VR. So it becomes a gateway, I think, more than anything else.
And the games do that as well. So like Half-Life Alyx, Medal of Honor. Do you know what I mean? There's games out there with big name. Medal of Honor, to be fair, I know Half-Life's big, but Medal of Honor is like massively big as well.
To me, I love Half-Life, but to me, Medal of Honor is the bigger series for me to want to jump into VR, just because I have a lot more history with Medal of Honor than I do with Half-Life. I've played Half-Life and I loved it, but to me, Medal of Honor, I can specifically remember sitting on my floor playing the original Medal of Honor on my PlayStation, and it's just the memories are insane. So that's why I want to jump in it so bad.
That is so cool. And then obviously
especially the multiplayer aspects of it.
Oh yes,
yeah,
definitely.
You know, like it's just an experience you can share with friends and things like that, and it just really helps people to bring people into VR. So
yeah, and it's Respawn. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, you can already just say, after even watching the trailer, you're going to be like, this game is going to be good. Like, it can't be anything but good.
They've even got the composer. I don't remember how to say his last name. Michael Gaia. How do you say that?
You're on your own here, mate.
Yeah, I don't remember how to say his name. Somebody in the chat. Yeah, I'm not going to mess it up. But the composer is an insane composer. Have you listened to the title track yet?
No, but I can play the trailer again.
It's available on Spotify, and it's really good. The music in those games has always been really good anyways, like the originals, and the composer, I think, is the composer from the original Medal of Honor games, actually.
Wow.
But he's like a Hollywood composer. That's the level you get when you get AAA games like this. This guy's done massive movies, Hollywood movies, and he's going over to this VR game to compose the music for it, which is just incredible.
Yeah, without a doubt. And as I said, having Respawn involved is...
Yep.
You're steering that ship. People are just going to line up for it. I mean, the fact we've got Star Wars in VR, I love telling people about that, because they're like, oh, what, can you like use a lightsaber? And I'm like, yeah, you can. You can use two. You got the Force. You meet Darth Vader, the geezer's about 10 foot tall and about 8 foot wide. Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely massive. So... yeah, all those things, man, all those things. So, does anyone quickly want to watch Medal of Honor trailer again? Let me know. I don't mind. If you don't want it this week, I completely understand. I'm happy to leave it and move on, you know, and say our goodbyes. But if anyone's got any questions as well, now's the time. We quickly get this done.
Oh yeah, because you're missing. I'm a Celeb? Is that what it is?
You love it. You love British TV.
What's that?
You love British TV.
I'm a Celebs.
You don't know what I'm a Celebrity is?
No, I didn't know last week either. I asked about it last week.
I'm a Celebrity. Is it a comedy show? What is it? Tell me about it.
It is.
Pitch me on it.
So,
pitch me. Sell me on it.
It kind of reminds me of when someone is like a celebrity back in the day, and then they're not a celebrity anymore, but they kind of were a celebrity, and people want to know what they're doing, they end up on this program, and they usually go into the Australian jungle and they eat penises, bollocks, the intestines of animals, survive underground with loads of insects on them, and basically they earn food. They get stars. If you get a star from like putting your hand into a hole full of, I don't know, flesh-eating crickets or something. I completely made that up. I don't know they exist. They probably don't.
In Australia,
exist.
they do for
So
sure.
it's like Fear Factor meets Survivor. For
Yeah. And you get a
old
star.
Celebrities.
And you get a star, and then you can feed someone at your camp. But the people doing it, right? So the people doing the tasks are the people that are voted on by the public. Normally, I don't know how this year has been. I haven't really been watching it with lockdown. They've had to like change it and stuff. But yeah, normally the person who obviously freaks out the most is the poor person who ends up doing the most tasks, because the crowd want to see him go crazy. So scared of snakes? Let's put him in the snake pit. That's what people are like.
Is there a way to watch that here? Is that like a Hulu thing or?
It's on ITV, but I don't know if you can watch it over there. I'm not sure. I imagine you can. Like, you could probably YouTube it and find out what it is.
Let's see. Trying to see how to watch it. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I want to check it out. I haven't had a chance to yet, but
Yeah, you have to check it out, guys. You're going to absolutely love it. So, we're going to wrap up the show. We're just going to quickly flip over and watch the Medal of Honor trailer, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Let's go. Because I love this trailer.
I know this is the first time some of you will see combat. I know you're scared. Let me be clear with all of you. I'm scared too.
Welcome to France, gentlemen. I lead the local resistance cell. Something big is happening inside Gestapo headquarters, and we don't know what it is.
We're gonna have to improvise here.
Members of the resistance are perhaps the bravest people fighting in this war. But you really should stop. There is no future in it.
Sorry to interrupt, Lieutenant. It'll be a wild ride, but we'll get you there.
Jet fighters, brace yourselves!
Like I said, boom!
There are things, as people, I'm willing to sacrifice myself for.
Somehow this motley crew has been tasked with saving civilization. God help us all.
Wait, is this Skyrim?
And
Are
we
gonna
are
get it?
back. No, so,
Who's that dork?
Yeah.
so Billy Bob, what did you think of that trailer?
Yeah, I think it looks great, man. I really do think it looks like it's going to be a fun game. I'm just curious, a lot of the aspects, like now I'm saying like the falling out of the plane. There's a lot of it where the motions of the hands look too smooth to be done with a VR controller.
Okay.
You know, unless they just did it for the thing. So I'm excited to see how a lot of that stuff is implemented.
yeah, for sure.
You know, kind of how they get around that. But no, I mean it's exciting, and I think anytime a title with you know the brand and name power like Medal of Honor, I think that could be huge for VR. So, you know,
I think it's
hopefully
massive.
it is. Hopefully it's great.
And it goes back to like the thing of where I've got the people. You got the people who don't want to like Oculus because of the Facebook thing. I completely get that. But if you're fine with Facebook, Oculus are doing, or Facebook are doing so much of VR right now. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. A game like that wouldn't be here, I don't think. The only chance it would have been was with PSVR, and at the moment, there's like this transitional period where nothing's happening. So,
is there any rumors or anything on longevity of the campaign or anything like that? 'Cause that'd be my only thing. Is it comes out, it's a $40 game, and then it's 3 hours long or 2 hours.
The only thing
long,
that I've heard,
like
and I don't have any specifics on it, is it's supposed to be a full-length campaign as if you were playing a traditional flat-screen Medal of Honor game. That's all that they've really said. I don't know how long that is, how long they plan on it being, but
if I was good, I mean, have they released a price yet?
No.
So I'm gonna guess this is gonna be between 28 and 32. I'm gonna guess that the campaign is between 7 and 10, more likely on the lower scale.
Yeah.
Because you got multiplayer in there as well. That's what I think is going to be happening. But even if it is 36 or 40, I'm still going to go.
I hope,
still going to go.
I hope that it's. I hope it's like I would love to see like a 15-hour campaign. I know that's unrealistic, but like a 15-hour campaign, even if it was like $50-$60, like a real PC game. I would pay that if it meant like a 15 to 20-hour Medal of Honor campaign. I doubt that's the case, but
I remember thinking when I got Half-Life Alyx, I don't know how much it was, but I remember thinking it's quite expensive. I can't remember. I think it was definitely over the £30 mark for me of some sort.
Yeah.
But at the time, there wasn't the community levels there and the mods. Now that game, the value of that game is it's crazy. You can go and play GoldenEye. Like the GoldenEye, I made a whole video just on that because it was legitimately incredible. And then like I don't know if Bradley's still here, but I done his level, the mine one, and a few others, and they're so well made. And that's why like that price to what you get is you can't really compare it. You're like, might as well go and get it because there's infinite content on it. There's BioShock. There's just so much going on in there, dude. It's incredible. So but thank you everyone for joining us today for episode 18, I believe, if I got my numbers right, of the VR Link. Thank you, Matt, for being here as always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to the Bearded Var and Cody Sturgis.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, you guys.
Thanks for having us, guys.
This was fun, man.
It's a fantastic story. Listen, all the best with the magazine. You will always have my backing. And I'll try and do all I can for you. I'm definitely going to up my patronage because I can't believe you're paying that much money to bring me that magazine, dude. It's insane. I had no idea, but now I do know. Thank you for telling me, and thank you for all you're doing for VR because end of the day, I mean, I don't know where that's going to go, but I do actually believe it's going to go upwards, and I hope it works. I hope it does something for you guys in return. That's what I hope,
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see you, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Thank you, everyone in the chat for being with us today. All the likes, all the comments. Thank you ever so much. Look out for us next week, same time on Wednesday. Take care. Stay safe. See you next time. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.